Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction Week. Finally, it's album reviews. You can find our band interviews, you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. Been really busy as of late. Been posting a ton of interviews. Now they're going out Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. So definitely check those out. I'm posting a ton of album reviews over this weekend. I hope to get to all of them. If not, it'll be coming out the following couple of days after the weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, definitely check out my interview with Kevin from Academy Killer. It was really awesome. Love Kevin. Salutes to you, Kevin. So definitely check that out if you're interested. But if you want to just listen to this review, totally cool too. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Academy Killer's newest record, Lost in Make Believe.
My eyes, what do I see? The stars aligned in front of me. Set the sails, stay the course. No looking back, just moving forward.
So I want to give a massive shout out to Becky over at Big Picture Media. She's the one who sent me this band over, and I always love when she sends me stuff because I feel like she's really, on the forefront of some really great bands, so I always love having them on. But in case you aren't familiar with Academy Killer, they are a band based out of Hamilton, Ontario, and they had put out an EP prior to this, which I will probably get around to listening to. But she had approached me about doing a review and an interview with Kevin about his band's latest work, so I figured I'd not only have him on to talk, but also to do a review of it. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called The Distance, and this is, I believe, the first single that they had released off the record. And right off the bat, I get a huge State Champs influence. I don't believe Kevin had mentioned them as an influence. I mean, they possibly are. I know Kevin had mentioned Blink for sure. But this really feels heavily influenced by State Champs, which is awesome because I think they're a fantastic band. I think instrumentally and song structure wise, it feels very reminiscent of that. But I think the thing that stands out to me the most in a lot of these songs and just the record in general is just Kevin's vocals. I think he has a really unique timbre to his voice. It doesn't really sound like a lot of other artists that are out there now in the pop punk scene, which is always cool, and I always love finding bands that have like a unique sound to them. While he's not doing a lot of stuff maybe in crazy ranges like Derek does, or does some like more lower stuff, like I think in like 4 Years Strong stuff where Alan and Dan do kind of the harmonies, the highs and lows. I think that he just has this like tonality to him that I really enjoy, and it has that sort of memorability to it that each time I'm going through a track it feels I think like, wow, this is Kevin for sure. The track has a lot of energy to it. It's fun, what you expect from pop punk for sure. And I think it starts off the record off on a strong note for sure. It's definitely one of those high energy tracks that I feel like you need at the beginning of a record. I love the harmonies in this track. For those who are familiar, with the channel, how much I love harmonies. So whenever, I get to talk about that and, really freak out about some really awesome harmonies, I definitely love talking about that. But we're going to move into track number 2, which is Figure Me Out. I think much along the lines of The Distance is kind of continues the wave of kind of more pop punk stuff. Definitely dig the intro with the guitar and bass. I think that one of the coolest parts of the track is just the underlying bass riff that the guitar and the bass kind of play off of at the beginning of the song. I think it really accentuates not only the first verse, but also the second verse, in which they kind of continue on with that sort of pattern. I think it's another really catchy song, much like The Distance. But I would say that primarily my favorite part of the song is definitely the chorus. I think they really knocked it out of the park on this one. While these two might not be my favorite tracks, I think they are really solid in how they're written and how they were executed. So we're going to move into track number 3, which is While I Drown. This one is my favorite, and I would say it's definitely one of the best songs off the record, probably up there with another one, which I'll be talking about later on. But this one, I think it's just really awesome. It's fantastic. I think the songwriting is really well done and well executed, just because I feel like it is such a 180 from not only the singles that were released at the time, but also just the songs on the record in general. I feel like it has kind of a section to its own in some regards. It has this really bluesy kind of soulful feel to it, reminiscent of bands to me of like The Cab, Set It Off, especially more so their earlier work, excuse me, where they kind of pulled more from like theatrical stuff. It's a little bit more avant-garde, which I like. The piano was a really nice addition, and I think it just adds this sort of like real, like, kind of like jazzy, kind of like bluesy, kind of funky sort of stuff going on in this song. And I like that Kevin really did a lot more vocally in this track. I think he really kind of, broke out of the mold and kind of did something different that didn't feel reminiscent of a, pop punk band frontman. I think he really kind of changed the game on this track for sure. And I love just the vocal choices and the chances that he kind of took on this, where, maybe kind of like a little more of an ad-libby part or like more of a run in this song really works. And I think it is, again, further highlighted by some really awesome harmonies throughout the track. I think in certain parts it really accentuates his more kind of jazzy blues timbre in this track. I also love the little sort of almost, I guess, breakdown in a sense at the 2 minutes and 20-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 42-second mark. I think Nathaniel rips just the drum solos, all that sort of stuff. I think he just absolutely killed it. It was cool to hear that kind of like break in a song that, again, you wouldn't, I think you wouldn't primarily hear from a straight just pop punk band, which is awesome. This one definitely took me by surprise. Again, one of my favorite songs off the EP, without a doubt. So we're going to move into track number 4, which is It's True. Again, with these sort of different songs, I like that they're hitting their stride on this one. I think that, initially when you're listening to the first couple songs and you haven't heard of the band, you feel like it would be very much a pop punk record. But so far, it's been, very different in that regard, because the first two are very pop punk flavored, and these two feel very much like, one's definitely more jazzy bluesy, this one, It's True, feels more ballady, kind of more of a like swingy sort of track, which is awesome. I think it has some really awesome rhythm to it as well, and I also feel like they're hitting their stride. A lot of the back half of this EP is some of my favorite moments and favorite songs off the record. It's nice to hear just, a different sort of sound tonality from this band, and I think it shows a lot of variety and a lot of flair that they can kind of add to future music. But this one was definitely solid, definitely one of the more ballady, slower songs, but I think it really works. And while the lyrics are very sentimental, I think it works with this sort of vibe and this sort of sounds that they were able to achieve in this song. So one of my favorites, definitely go check out It's True. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is Looks to Kill. This is the other single that had been released, along with a cool music video as well. And again, I think it's a well-executed pop-punk track. I felt like if you listen to only the 2 singles, you would very much think this is a pop-punk record, but I think they show a lot more diversity, and I would definitely recommend the rest of it if you get the chance to. But I think I have really similar remarks to how I felt about The Distance is the way that I feel about Looks to Kill. I think it is a very solid pop punk track, but I don't think there's really particularly anything stand out ish about either of the tracks. I think they very much stay in their lane. I think they very much keep to the same sort of pace as a lot of other pop punk artists. So I don't feel like there's any degradation between those. But again, really well written songs. I just feel like, the other songs that I had mentioned before really kind of highlight the band more in a better way, and I would hope that they'd be able to find some common ground maybe on a next full length or a next EP. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is 17. This one is also one of my favorites as well. I think it is a appropriate blend of kind of more ballady songs like like It's True, the one that I just spoke about a few minutes ago, but also with their sort of pop punk roots with like The Distance and Looks to Kill, which is really nice. I think the organ was definitely another nice touch to this song as well. And I think it's really different. Again, it was something that wasn't particularly expecting from the band. I think much like the songs that weren't the singles, they really surprised me, and I would love to hear more stuff along this lines. And there's this really cool key change at the around the 2 minutes and 43-second mark to the end of the song. It was something that, again, I wasn't really expecting, but I think they really made it work with the sort of, again, ballady aspect of the song. And it's definitely one of my favorites as well. I think it's just a nice change of pace, and I think it is one of those standout tracks from this record. So we're going to move into the last track number 7, which is Tonight. This one is by far my favorite, hands down. If there was any song that I would recommend off this record, it is definitely this one, because I feel like they took what I had just said and kind of made it into gospel in a sense. It does have that pop punk flavor, especially towards the end, but it really has some really awesome, funky, groovy, fun, energetic grooves to it that I think is really complemented by the band. And I think it is further accentuated from Kevin's vocals. I think he does a really great job of kind of switching it up, sounding different in that way. And I think he really made this song work for not only him, but I think instrumentally as well. I think it is the most inventive track off the record without a doubt. And I just love the sort of like pop like feeling to it, that real indie kind of like rock. I don't even know what type of genre to kind of put it in, but I think it really works with these sort of, different vibes of the songs that were not the singles. And it's just so different from the rest. So it just has that memorability to me as well. And I think really, again, one of the best tracks. I think they saved the best for last. And I also feel like it really culminates the record in a nice way as well, that I feel like, again, you should definitely check out. So some pros and cons. I would say that one of the biggest cons, and I had mentioned it throughout this entire review, is that I feel like the singles really don't do a justice to the record. The 2 singles that they had released at the time feel very much pop punk, very much, in that lane. I feel like a lot of people will be like, okay, well, they're just another pop punk band. But I feel like if they changed it out with maybe another song, I think they would have more of a responsive nature to it. I'm not trying to downplay the singles that they had released. I think they were both very solid songs, but I also think that, there is some shock value in having one single that is this way and one single that is that way. I know that a lot of people don't think that way, but I love to see the kind of variety and growth of a band. And so if I don't hear it in the singles, I might assume that the rest of the record might sound like that. And I am so glad that I am wrong in that case, because this record is very well executed. I think the songs that they experimented very well on. I would say more so the non-single songs. But again, well written from front to back. I think Kevin does a great job. The only thing that I would like to see is maybe Kevin do some more, vocal range, have a little bit more, do a different approach to how a song may come out. I know he's done a little bit of falsetto. I would say more so in 17. You could hear a little bit of falsetto going here and there, but I'd love to hear him expand his voice, kind of try stuff that's different. And I think that the stuff that they did differently on this record really worked for me, and hopefully it worked for you and you'll go check it out. But my overall rating for Academy Killer's newest record, Lost in Make Believe, I'm going to be giving it a 9.4 out of 10. I think it is a solidly written record. And I think that, again, the singles do not do this record a justice. Go listen to the rest of it and let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you agree, if you disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you enjoyed this review, make sure to like, share, subscribe. It goes a long way. And my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.